Ba, 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 ba. Whee! Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill.
I'm Brittany.
And we are not in our shop today. We are at my brother's house.
Yes.
We were at my brother's house because he got a new house and he didn't have a workbench. The shame.
I know.
Shame. So we built the workbench. Actually, I took a picture. I posted it on Facebook. You guys can go see.
On the Punish Props page?
On the Punish Props Facebook page, you can see
Yes.
the sweet, sweet bench that we built.
I have workbench envy. It is very nice. It has an upper shelf and it has the unintentional design of being able to put lighting in the upper shelf and the lighting will cast down onto the bench below. And I would love that because right now we have hanging fluorescent lights and when I lean forward, I hit my head on those hanging fluorescent lights, so it's not favorite.
He also has more ceiling room than we do.
It's true. He has a garage.
So me and my brother and my dad, who is visiting, my parents are visiting. If you guys were on the stream yesterday, you saw my parents running around. And Brittany, the four of us teamed up and built a workbench, which was super fun.
I held things.
You did.
So that was my contribution, and swept.
I cut things and drilled things. So that's what we did. We're also in a mad dash because we leave for DragonCon in about 12 hours. So that's what's coming up next. What are we bringing? What costumes are we bringing?
So our big costumes that we're bringing are the Fallout outfits. Bill has his Mechanist. I have my Assaultron. There is a Fallout photo shoot meetup on Sunday, I believe. There's a Facebook group for it. So if you have a Fallout costume, you're going to be at DragonCon. I hope to see you there.
Yes.
We're probably going to try and bring them out at least a little bit each day. Probably not wear them for too terribly long. We've learned to not be in full armor for more than a couple hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have a miserable time.
That's a younger cosplayer's game.
Yes. But also, DragonCon is all about these silly, fun, casual costumes. So we have a couple group costumes we're doing. Our other Fallout ones, we have our leather jackets that we were working on yesterday. They're part of the Atom Cats group. Which is funny because they're meeting up at the same time for the Fallout photo shoot, so we won't be able to do that.
We'll be able to do both.
Unless you put your jacket over your armor.
Over the Mechanist armor, yeah.
Under
it, I could strip it off.
That would be great.
So that's going on at DragonCon. We've also got... you may see my Mass Effect armor running around. I probably won't be wearing it. But my goal to get as many people in that thing as possible is coming true. We're bringing it for my buddy Mike, and someone else might be wearing it too.
Yes, so we'll be bringing the Defender armor.
Keep an eye out for that.
Yes. Also, if you guys know Beatdown Boogie, Micah last year had a Lisa Frank costume, which is if you're not a female that grew up in the early 90s, you wouldn't know that Lisa Frank is a colorful notebook artist, and he dressed up as the leopard from her artwork. So this year he has a group costume meetup on Saturday evening, and we're all a part of it, so we're all dressing up as Lisa Frank characters. So look for us there, running around the Marriott floor. So that's one of our group costumes.
We will have our vintage Marriott carpet wear.
Of course.
Which, even though the carpet isn't that anymore, we're still wearing our costumes, our carpet wear. That'll be a good time.
Well, there's enough of us that I figure we can just hang out together and
recreate the carpet.
Yeah.
No one wants to dress up as a new carpet. It looks lame.
Also, one of our friends came up with a fun group costume that we all jumped on. She's been rewatching DuckTales.
Yes.
And the bad guys in DuckTales, called the Beagle Boys, they're like some kind of dog character, but they all dress exactly the same, and I'll show up and try and rob Scrooge McDuck. So we're all dressing up as the Beagle Boys. So look for red shirts and blue pants running around.
And the bandit masks.
Yeah, and hats, and they have prison nameplates, which they never thought to take off, I guess.
It's kind of a dead giveaway. And we have some assorted goofy costumes you'll see throughout the weekend. Just a lot of casual stuff, a lot of goofy things.
You have your Han Solo too, I know.
I do, yeah. We'll see if that fits. We're getting a little short on space.
Oh, for room. That's true.
All right. So we mentioned DragonCon. We're going to have a meetup at DragonCon. And if you go to the Punish Props Facebook page, you'll see the event. It's Friday?
Yes.
At 6?
4:30?
4:30? I could probably click on the link and find out for myself.
Yeah. If anyone has the link to the meetup for DragonCon, feel free to
post that in the chat.
Throw it in the chat.
It's at 5 to 6:30 p.m.
That's Eastern. Yeah, Eastern
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So at 5 o'clock on the 10th floor of the Skyline level in the Marriott. And then at 6:30, it's going to be over, and we're going to scurry over to Frank Ippolito's panel, the Creature Geek panel, and we're going to do like an in-person raid. It's going to be awesome.
Did you see who his guests are?
Who's his guest?
The two of the people who worked on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That panel is going to be packed.
Because Frank
better get there early.
Yeah, well, it says 7 p.m. on a Friday, though. It might be empty.
It's going to be packed.
I mean, it's going to be packed because we're going to bring people. But...
It's going to be packed because the MSD3K guys are there.
Yeah, well.
So that's the plan anyway. But there's also a Prop Tarts at PAX West event. So we won't be there, but the Prop Tarts will be there because you guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out a location right now.
Yes.
So throw in your ideas if you have a good meetup location. They're thinking about maybe trying somewhere different besides the juice bar that we met up at Emerald City Comic Con.
Right. So that's
it. If you go to our Punish Props Facebook page, that event's linked right there.
Okay,
if
but
you
also
go to the event section.
The Prop Tarts page has that as well, all on Facebook. Looks like Eric Jones, aka Core Geek, is going to be there.
You can go to the meetup and meet Eric.
Yes, you can.
It is totally worth it. He will probably be in his Hero's Duty costume because he just made the helmet for it from Wreck-It Ralph.
All right, that's all we have for updates for you guys.
Yeah. I'm so excited you guys have a meetup planned for PAX.
Yep.
Take a group picture if you remember and post it on the page.
We have we'll be traveling this week, but we still have videos going up. So we have a Prop 3D video going up on Friday. We have a new shop video going up on Monday. And then we'll be back. So we'll have new stuff coming out next week up on the YouTube channel. Look out for that. I'm stoked about that. We've had a lot of friends in and out of the shop recently, and we filmed a bunch of stuff collaborating with other YouTube people. We have a handful of those videos coming out. They're going to be really fun, and you guys are going to be stoked to see them. So look for that. Starting Friday. And then now it's time for the live show. It's time to tackle some questions. If you have a question, submit it at punishedprops.com/live.
There's a form there.
There's a form there. It's really easy to fill out. We don't have a ton of questions for today, you guys, so we need you to go submit your questions. And they can be as goofy as you want. We just need fodder for the episode. So if you have a technique question, if you want to ask something about me and Britt, or the workbench we just built for my brother.
or the Punish Props business.
Yeah, anything at all. Just dump it in that form right there. It'll pop up in our inbox. We just got 2 new ones right now. One from Ninja Moose. We'll grab that. And we'll start tackling into your prop and costume making Q&A questions.
Or questions about our cats.
Or questions about our cats. Everyone wants to know the drama, the cat drama at our house.
I'll show them a sneak peek of my Lisa Frank costume because it has a cat in it.
Throw that up there.
So one of our friends had to be really clever with her idea for a Lisa Frank costume. Mm-hmm. So she's making Benjamin Lisa Franklin. And so a Lisa Frank version of Benjamin Franklin. So I was like, I have to come up with something too. So I made Mona Lisa Frank. And Ender was modeling my frame. It's just a cloth frame that I painted, and it has a PVC pipe border that I can take apart for travel. But, yep. So
there you go.
That's what that is.
All right, so you guys start dumping your questions in there. We'll get to answering them. We got a couple from earlier we'll go into, starting with that one guy, and he wants to know that he's building a character in Overwatch that goes by the name Balderic Van Alder. Don't know that character.
I bet it's the name of the skin.
Okay. I was wondering if you had any suggestions on how to make his power armor almost to scale. He's about 7 feet tall.
Is that Reinhardt? Is that
Could be
his real name? See, I haven't gotten to play Overwatch yet.
Yeah, let me look it up.
I know all the skins.
I will say we know a couple of people who are building Reinhardt costumes right now.
Yes.
Including Chad at Hoku Props, who I believe is in the chat right now.
Is he? Oh, Chad, if you're in the chat, link to your page.
Yes, absolutely. So Chad's working on one. Tim is working on one. It's Tim's time. and a couple other people. This is the leader of the Crusaders. I don't know this
From
character.
Overwatch? Oh, is that his new armor?
Could be, yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like
I think
looks
that's
like
the new armor they showed in the new Bastion video and it released. So, yeah.
There are a lot of challenges that come with building something at that scale. And what you really want to do is look at the picture of that character and look at his silhouette, the outline, the negative space around him. Because if you don't nail that silhouette, he's got a very tiny head compared to very large shoulders. So I know how some people are solving that is the character's head sit on top of their head, and it's smaller, and then they peek out through the neck. That way you get that silhouette. You don't have a head that's way too big.
Yeah, and then you put the person silhouette inside that silhouette and see how you're actually going to fit where your shoulder, where your joints are going to be, and figure that out.
Yeah, so. Chad's in the chat there. Twitch.tv/HokuProps. Go check that out.
Chad has a really clever idea he's figuring out for the arms, too. I hope it works out. It's a method that will lead to a lot less stress wearing the costume. So
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
So there you go. There's a lot of considerations. It's going to be a lot of trial and error and figuring it out as you work on it. I will also say that Gary Sturley, if you look up Gary Sturley Studios on Facebook, you'll see he's got a full album on how he did his Space Marine armor. And again, that's got a scale issue. So for example, he's up on stilts. So his feet are, like 1.5 feet off the ground. And then he can step off those stilts and walk around, which actually looks really funny because it's like he's super short and his feet come out where the knees are. But then when it's time to wear the costume, he can step back into those stilts. He's the right height. His legs look perfectly normal and good to go. But if you look up Gary Sturley Studios on Facebook, look up that album for his Space Marine armor, you'll see a full breakdown on how he figured all that stuff out. We gotta build a giant costume like that sometime.
Yeah. Our stuff we're used to fitting in luggage, but I mean, it'd be nice to have a costume we could drive to places.
Yeah, maybe for Emerald City next year we'll try and build something big.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because then what we could do is have that costume to use as a reference whenever anyone wants to know about a big costume, we'll reference that one, and then we'll have it and we can show it off.
Hey, Patch.
Hey, Patch is here. All right.
I'm glad he's late. So hopefully some people got bingo on that one.
Right. Late, 15 minutes late equals right on time. All right. Distemper has a question. I'm making a full armor set, and I have something similar to veins running throughout the full costume. He's got a picture. I can't bring it up because I'm on my little laptop.
Yeah, it's the Pauldrons of Surging Mana.
Okay, yeah.
From World of Warcraft, I believe.
I gotcha, yeah.
It's those ones.
So it looks like rocks, and in between the cracks of the rocks, it's all glowing. All right. The question is, I want it to be all lit up and glowing. I thought about fluorescent paint, but that won't work in a lighted area. I want it to always be on. What would you suggest? Something like lights under plastic or something?
That's my suggestion.
This is Arthammer LARP.
Yes. If you go to Facebook and look up Arthammer, all one word, space LARP, they make awesome LARP wear for people. I believe it's all commission work. And their first couple posts are this new set they're doing where they just use paint to make it look like the weapon is crackly and glowing. And it is impressive. And it is in a well-lit environment. So it can be done without lights.
And that's all just paint work.
Yeah, it's all just paint. It's there's no lights in there as far as I know. It's just the way that they airbrush it on there is the lightest parts are almost white, so it's almost like it's blown out in the picture, but it's really just paint. It's really well done.
So you can that would be, I would say, the easy way to do it. Just mimic that look with paint. You could build all of that armor out of a thin plastic. I know Fabricator Jin likes using thin styrene or thin Sintra. And if you put a bright enough light below that, it will shine through.
Oh, crazy. So it can be like opaque, but...
Even though it's opaque, if you put like a 12-volt LED strip below it, it'll shine through. And then you could put on some light washes of whatever color, like a teal color, and then paint a dark opaque layer of paint on the peaks of your rocks. Those less opaque areas, the light will actually shine through.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then it would be white plastic with teal paint on it, so even if it's not lit up, it would still have that similar look.
I like that.
Both of those things, though, both of those solutions are things you could do small scale tests of. So start off by just trying to mimic that with paint. Get some whites, get some teals and some blues, and then get some whatever your rock colors, some grays and like granite colored paint, and just try and mimic it with paint on a scrap piece of paint of armor or whatever. And if you can get it that way, awesome. If not, go buy some LEDs and do some tests that way too. So.
Venger linked to Gary's page. Thank you
Good,
for doing
thank you,
that.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
You're so helpful. You know what? I don't even need to do my job anymore. They're covering it.
That was a good question, Distemper. Good luck with that. That's an ambitious build you got there. We have a handful of questions rolling in earlier, or from just a little bit earlier. Continue to send in questions, you guys. We have another 40 minutes of episode and only a few more questions, so keep them coming in. Next one comes from Doom Guy Props. I was thinking about how to decide on what colors to use for my paint, for my project. How do you decide how to paint each project, and the way you go about it? Well, I have a handful of solutions that work for specific finishes that I know I would do frequently. So if I want a finish to look like a shiny chromed metal, I use all-clad paints for that. If it's just a flat color of something, I go buy that color, and usually that's we like the what are the acrylic paints, the heavy body, the Liquitex heavy body acrylic paints. Usually for airbrushing stuff, I'll get model paints, usually acrylics that are if I can get them pre-thinned, so I can just dump them in to my airbrush and paint them. So I really like using Tamiya paints for that.
Yeah, as far as choosing your colors go, if you get the option to, if you're doing your own design or a reimagined design of a character, a totally legit thing that artists do is take a bunch of different colors and just start doodling with them.
Yeah.
Like just get markers and try like red and gold together and then just mix them up and see how you like those, and then you almost like create a palette ahead of time until you find colors you like together and like, all right, this one's gonna be the main color, this one's gonna be the highlight.
Yep.
And all this stuff, and then see if you can find a set of paints that will work for that.
Do lots of paint tests, like we were saying before about that crackled glowing effect. It's going to be difficult if you just go straight to your finished prop or costume piece and just start laying paint on it and hoping it's going to look right. It's better to do small scale tests. Try lots and lots of different painting tests. If you guys follow Vulpin Props, you probably do. If not, you should. I'm pretty sure every single new prop he does gets a different paint test with varying shades and colors and testing out different types of finishes, different tools for painting, and an experiment to get exactly what he wants.
Yeah, the example I love, and if you ever get to see Vulpin Props at a convention and he has a panel, go to his panels.
Yep.
His painting one, he tells a story about how he unintentionally got a crackle paint effect that he now uses later intentionally on his splicer masks.
Yeah.
And he can completely control the crackle effect because of an accident.
Notes. Take lots of notes, especially if something doesn't go as planned.
Yeah.
When you're doing your paint test, take notes so you know how you applied that paint, what the ratios of mixtures were, if you used any particular techniques. So you may do some sort of paint chipping technique to get a certain look. Yes. Do we have a link for Vulpin?
You can just link to vulpinprops.com.
Yeah, just go to vulpinprops.com.
I bet if you ! Vulpin, it would show up though.
Probably.
Actually, I don't know. So I use for those who are starting to stream on Twitch, the bot I use is called Ankhbot, ANKHBOT. I believe it was made by a streamer, and there are no limitations on how many little comment things you can create. So I've started, every time we have a guest, I never take away the option to link to them. So I think Harrison was before we were on Twitch, or maybe when I had MooBot. But anyway, it's a great bot. I've been slowly adding other makers to it, so if you try an ! Someone, it might actually work. I don't even know if I have a punished props one yet.
All right, let's go on to the next question. That one came from Doom Guy Props. Quick one from Ninja Moose. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? It was labeled as a woodworking question. This may be a better question to ask someone like Mark at the Wood Whisperer, or perhaps David Pachuto over at Make Something, the Drunken Woodworker. He might know. So those are a couple of guys that might be able to help you out, Ninja Moose. Go check them out.
Andy Face figured it out. He did a shout out. If you ! Shout out space and the name of their Twitch channel, it will link to their Twitch.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andy.
Andy Face, you are so smart.
Okay. Another question. Lunchbox says, have you considered using fiberglass medical casting tape to create a body form? I've used this technique many times over the years, and it leaves you with a sturdy, rigid replica of your exact body dimensions. We've done that with plaster bandages, which I think is similar. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure.
I assume that the medical casting tape fiberglass would be better.
Could be more durable.
Sturdy. Yeah, like our plaster ones, if we keep them in the basement where there's a lot of moisture, they will always be a little soft and get a little deformed. I imagine medical grade stuff is higher quality. But yeah, he said in his question that he gets discounts leftovers from like vet clinics.
Ooh.
So that's really interesting.
I will say that the plaster bandages that we got a giant box of them for like $25, and that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't run out yet. Yeah. So it's cheap. You can use it for lots of different stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times we use a particular material because we have a lot left over and we just have to use it all. So we're less likely to go try another material because this one's working just fine and we already bought it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That came from Lunchbox. That's a good thing to try out too, especially if you can get scraps.
Yeah, and just make sure you always have a nice seam so you don't entomb part of your limb in a bandage.
It's good to work with a friend.
Yes.
Have someone help you out.
Yes.
All right, Nerdy Views wants to know, what's your favorite beer of the moment? What do you got right now?
Oh.
What are you working on?
Molson Canadian. This
video is not brought to you by Molson Canadian. But it could be if anyone at Molson is listening.
No, it's fine. It's we're just used to more flavorful beer. This one's a lager, so it's like if you had to describe someone what beer tastes like, just give them this. It tastes like beer. We like to scamper through the Total Wine and More aisle in the seasonal section and see what they have.
Yeah.
Right now, we're getting the fall season beers. I always really like the Night Owl by. Ooh. Is that Elysian Brewery? Yeah, the Elysian Brewery Night Owl. It is a pumpkin ale that actually tastes like pumpkin pie, unlike the ones that are like hints of pumpkin. It's like, no, this one actually is really good. So that is a current favorite.
My most of the time I lean on the Yeti beers from the
Great Divide.
Yeah, the Great Divide Brewing Company. They have a oak barrel aged espresso stout or chocolate stout Yeti. They're awesome. They're just like if I've had like a long week and I want to treat myself, I go get one of those, and they're fantastic.
It's a good celebration beer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're also real big fans of anything from the Southern Tier Brewing Company.
Yeah, Southern Tier Brewing Company makes very bold statements in their beer. They have a chocolate stout that actually tastes like pure chocolate. Like it's hard to keep on the shelves. I go to a store and it's just all out, and it's also seasonal. So, yeah, I think it comes out in the summer. But yeah, so
there you go. Actually, I will say though, specifically for this summer, I've been enjoying lighter lagers and stuff.
I like Kolsch's.
Yeah.
Kolsch.
You know, refreshing beers, the kind of beer you'd have after a run. Not that I go on runs, but if I did. Thank you, Nerdy Views. This was the Beer Minute with Bill and Britt.
that is totally beer in
coffee.
There. Yeah.
Okay, Shane wants to know, do you know of any way I could power about 30 LEDs? I was originally thinking of 2 9-volt batteries, but I would need to look into a LiPo. I watched Core Geek's video on LEDs and wanted to go a less pricey route power-wise, because I think he uses one of those power bricks.
Yes.
You could use 9-volt batteries for sure. It depends on your LEDs. If you get those strips of 12-volt LEDs, those will absolutely run on a 9-volt battery. and you don't have to step down the voltage or anything.
They just won't be as bright.
Just slightly less bright. It's a really simple solution.
Yeah, and 12. I mean, like if you can test it out at the full 12 volts with some other temporary setup, it may be way too bright because I've seen that with some costumes where it's like a beacon. Like 9 volt is kind of better.
I built a little stand, like a little sign with a laser cut words into it. And I wanted to power it with a wall plug, and the only thing I found on hand was a 9-volt plug, not a 12-volt plug. And I plugged that into that strip of LEDs, and it looked great. Mm-hmm. So if you look on Super Bright LEDs is one place where you can buy those strips of 12-volt LEDs. And you can cut those and move them into different, just splice them in wherever you need them, and then just plug those into a 9-volt battery. You should be fine.
Yeah, and we've invested in rechargeable batteries. We have a whole system going. So we have AA's, AAA's, and 9-volt rechargeables. Mm-hmm. So we can just take a pile of those to conventions, bring them home, recharge them, and that's our new way of doing it. So
everyone in the chat is talking about beer now.
Yep, as they should. Andy Hayes is talking about a cake beer.
Hey Patch says, "Hey, are you looking for a beer sponsor?" Hey Patch, if you can hook us up with a beer sponsor, you go ahead and let me know. Just email me.
I liked what was it, the Forged Armory guys?
The Smith and Forge did a sponsorship for the Man at Arms. That was pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. The Man at Arms team now has a Smith and Forge in their shop, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a clever match for those guys.
All right, let's see. That was a good question. That came to us from Shane. And I gotta say, Shane, usually when it comes to electronics, I go towards the easiest solution, and that's generally what I go with.
Yeah.
For that one. All right, let's keep moving here. That came from Shane. Next one's Venger. He says, Venger. I'm sorry. How did you and Britt get to be so awesome? Is it supernatural power passed down from your parents, or was effort required? Well, because I know my mom is watching, I'll give her at least half the credit. Because my dad is watching, I think he gets the other half.
I'm a believer of awesomeness being kind of an illusion where you only see the highlights of us. We're just normal dorky people, but the online parts are just the best bits.
So that's the real secret.
Yeah.
What you do is create an online persona of yourself that only showcases the very best. That's also why whenever I swear in one of my videos, I censor it. Which doesn't happen very often, but I have a video coming up where I definitely had to censor some swearing.
No, I think, though, for reals, though, I think awesomeness just comes with being helpful and inclusive, and that's pretty much it. So like, if you live your life that way, and it's kind of infectious, like everyone around you wants to be like that too. So
what I tell people is to be the thing that you want to see out of the world. So if you wish the world and people were more helpful, then you be more helpful. If you want your content to be shared more, if you want to showcase what you're doing more, showcase what other people are doing. Be the thing that you want other people to be.
Yeah.
And then you'll be surprised when people start following along. Or maybe you won't be surprised. Thank you, Venger. Good question. Let's grab another one. Murph's Models. Hopefully that's, well, it doesn't matter, but I'm thinking like little scale models. But maybe Murph is like a modeling agency. In which case, I will happily model for you. I have model on my resume, by the way.
We have a set of Mass Effect Defender armor you can put on your models.
I have been paid to model.
It's true. Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah.
Murph wants to know, I'm building a human-sized Optimus Prime gun. That is a noble endeavor.
That would be awesome to have.
I want to base it around a piece of PVC pipe. Is that allowed in cons? Every con I've gone to with something like that has been totally cool with using PVC pipe.
It really depends on the convention. You'll want to go to the convention's website and check their weapon policies, but ours tend to be fine as long as they're not too heavy.
Right.
When it comes to something that is obviously not a Nerf gun, that's when they get really like, oh, I don't know, does it actually fire and that? But for weight, it would be fine. Like, is the rest gonna be out of foam or is it gonna be like wood?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet it'll be okay. Whatever convention you're going to, go read their policies. Make sure that there isn't anything that's expressly forbidden. But I think you should be all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, go have fun with that. I'm excited to see when you build that. Let us know. I want to see your Optimus Prime gun.
Yeah.
Send me a tweet at me with that, and I will be happy. That's at Chinbeard on Twitter. All right, Murph's Models. Good luck with your modeling career. CD Steer says, I noticed you guys have a table saw. What prompted this addition to your shop? Do you have a specific project or use in mind? Do I ever?
Do you ever?
Yeah, we had our buddy Bob from I Like to Make Stuff was in town in Seattle, and Bob uses a table saw all the time. So I designed a project around using a table saw to justify me buying one. And Bob and I built something. We built a box for my 3D printers and filament that aren't here because we're not in my house. But we did a video, and that video will be up in a couple of weeks. Or like a week and a half not this Monday, but the next Monday. So yes, that's exactly what I tell people when you need to justify buying a new tool or learning a new skill, build a project or design a project that would utilize those things, yes, and then go buy it.
And since Bob is so well versed in his table saw, it was wonderful to have him around to teach Bill how to use it correctly. Because that's like, we tend to shy off building or buying tools that we aren't familiar with that are potentially dangerous.
Terrified of.
That you're terrified of. So yeah, we learned a lot. So that's good.
And I will say too, once I got that machine, now I'm looking for every reason I can to use it, because there are so many things that you just can't do without a table saw. And once you have it, like here's a list of projects that I haven't even thought about doing because I don't have a table saw. So I told you I built a little sign, a little light up sign. I used the table saw to make the wooden stand for that. And it made ripping down a piece of wood perfectly is trivial on a table saw. Piece of cake. A lot harder to do with like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
Or you could do it with a circular saw, but it would be a pain in the butt. So yes, look for that coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, CD Steer. Next question comes from Tren Otaku. When planning the workbench, what would you consider a happy medium in terms of height? Oh, see, this came up today. Let's see.
So you can stand or sit and still be comfortable, not miserable.
Right. For mine, I made it about 40 inches tall. Rob's, we ended up at about 36 or 37 inches tall, a little bit lower.
Yeah, we had him stand and kind of hold up his hands and just kind of measure where he would be comfortable. Yep. So for me, it's not as comfortable, but
we have 2 workbenches in our shop. Mine's designed for my height, and as you would imagine, Brittany's is a little bit higher.
Mine was designed for Will, so it's almost a little high for me.
Yeah.
But it's great.
So for me, my thought was I don't want to have to hunch at all when I'm working at my workbench because I stand in front of that thing all day long. So I erred on making it a little bit taller, but you can also get a stool if you do need to sit in front of that. Now, I end up not sitting most of the time. I end up just standing there all day. But I do have a stool that's a higher stool compared to like a normal chair, so I can sit there. We also have a lower table that if I was hunched over that all day would suck. But we have chairs so we can sit down like a normal human in front of that table. So maybe we're a little bit spoiled because we have a couple of different workbenches. But the taller one with a stool is a pretty good solution.
I like the idea of having some kind of partial drafting table thing because even if you have a tall table, if you have to cut, you lean over it for small things. Like for big things, it's fine. But if you're like cutting out like a little bitty stencil thing, so it'd be nice to have that angle. We started making lists for like our next shop.
Yep. Like
the kind of tables we want to design for that. Because right now, ours are partially designed to fit in the space. So they're not the best, but they fit in our basement. So
there you go. I'm just grabbing a couple more questions here. Thank you guys so much for coming up with all these great questions on the spot. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's do another one. That last one came to us from Tren Otaku. Venger wants to know, there are so many things I want to build with so many new games and shows coming out. My list only increases. You and me both. How do you prioritize what you build next? Whatever catches my attention at that particular moment. I think what actually happens is, so for example, the Fallout costumes.
Yes.
We had just played Fallout 4, and we needed to build a new costume for San Diego Comic-Con, and we didn't have another costume planned. So we're like, that one.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where we had just played the, was it Automaton?
Yeah, the robot one.
Yeah, the robotic DLC, and I was like, man, that mechanist looks cool, and Bill's like, I want to make it, and I was like, sweet.
Sold.
If you make it, then I get to make my Assaultron, because that was on my list, but I wasn't going to do a Fallout costume if Bill wasn't going to do one. Because it's fun to run around together and matching costumes.
Right.
So
we do have a list of dream costumes, stuff we've been wanting to make for a long time, but just the stars haven't aligned. It's really... There needs to be a reason to build it, a convention or a book that I'm writing or a video that we have to do. So, for example, I did a project... Monday's video is a project I built with a friend, and we built something that she had been wanting to build for a while. That'll be the Deku shield that I blueprinted a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were planning a collaboration with another YouTube person, and that person had a thing that they wanted to make, so that's what we made. Yeah,
I think we're beginning to lose the, like, we don't just cosplay for fun, it's part of our business. So we can't, even though we would like to build things on a whim, it's almost like because it's not part of our business, it's not as much of a priority. Like, we're just happy to make content for you guys to see. Like, if I pick one axe from a game or another axe from a different game, it's like, as long as I'm producing something that you guys get to see and learn from, it makes me happy. So I'm not as particular anymore.
Right.
Like, and that's interesting, because I used to be like, oh, I have to do something from Magic the Gathering or whatever.
Yeah, or it'll be like, if I can build anything from Fallout, sweet.
But now it's like, I almost would pick a costume that is just using a new technique we haven't done a video about, you know? So, and that's, it's a different way to look at costumes.
Specifically, I'm, again, working on a collaboration with a different YouTube person who's designing a prop. And I told him, the only thing I told him is, I want to learn how to use NeoPixel rings, those LED rings. So I said, just incorporate circular lights somewhere in the design, and then I will get to learn that technique.
Watch the props, just a whole bunch of circular lights.
Yeah,
like this big.
Andy Face, I want you to know that Google thinks your email is spam and you're a robot.
Be careful with this message, says Google.
Thank you. Another good question from Wenger. All right.
That's not his fault. I guess it's just whatever his email's from.
Monk is thinking of getting an embroidery machine so that he can make badges and patches. Would anyone have any recommendations for embroidery machines?
I want an embroidery machine. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Let me... we have a friend. Emmabellish is her Facebook page name.
She's been our guest on Prop Live a while ago.
So I'm going to look it up real quick here, just to double check if that's the right URL. Whoop! Facebook's freaking out. Computer's freaking out. Everything's going crazy.
You're asking a lot of this little thing.
Let's see if this works. That is it. Okay, our friend Emma has an embroidery machine, and I'm going to post a link in the chat. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Emma does, I think she has an Etsy store where you can order badges from her that she makes on her embroidery machine, and she has a lot of experience with it, and they look awesome. We have some of the Destiny embroidered badges of like the Titan and the Warlock that we got from her, and they look awesome. So she would be the one to ask. We do not own one, and I've only ever seen one running at a convention before, and that's what made me want one, because it looked the machine. Oh, also another person to check out is on Twitch. Go to Talk Custom. I believe that is his Twitch handle. He does awesome sewing work. He makes costumes, but he also makes like useful bags and stuff, and does really cool sewing work. But he has an embroidery machine, so if you hop in on his streams, you can always ask him what he has.
Talk Custom?
It might be singular or plural, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I just posted a link in the chat. Hopefully it works. No, I spelled it wrong.
Oh.
Never mind. So one of you guys will figure it out and link it, because I know how awesome you are. I said Talk Custom.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh,
we
well.
tried.
We'll figure it out. That sounds awesome, Monk.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you. That sounds like a really, really fun thing.
Oh man, you can make a Prop Tart embroidered
Oh my
badge.
goodness.
That would be amazing.
All right. Good question, Monk. Let's chew through a couple more of these here. We've got Brooks Creations wants to know. Hey, Bill and Britt. Curious what you prefer, Titan, Hunter, or Warlock? And what's your favorite weapon type? Titan?
Titan Scout Rifle.
Your favorite's Titan?
Yeah, well, I don't play because that's what I... So when I worked at Bungie, I played Titan a lot.
Andy Face got the link right. There you go, everyone. Go follow Talk.
Yay! Thank you, Andy Face. So yeah, since when Bill started playing Destiny, I played Hunter just to compliment him, but Titan is still my favorite. But I play Titan when I worked there a lot. And I like the Scout Rifle.
Yeah, I like Scout Rifles. I like hand cannons, but also Titan all the way.
I'm enjoying the Hunter, though. It's just not my normal play style, but it's fun. Like, Arc Hunter, it's very different. Like, I would normally, if I was playing by myself, I wouldn't pick it, but it's fun. Like, Bill, I'll lay down my cool... actually, Void Hunter, lay down my cool voidy stuff, and then Bill will go in with his hammer.
Start throwing fiery hammers.
Yeah, it works really well together. Just super bubbles everywhere, as far as the eye can see.
Good question, Brooks Creations. We're looking forward to the new DLC.
I'm meaning to forget about how to play Destiny. I haven't played in like 4 months. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll have to jump back into that.
Okay, next one. Our buddy Nerdy Views has a new question. I know you'd probably make it out of resin, but is there a good way to make a Reaper face mask from Overwatch out of foam? I was thinking of trying to make a helmet and then cutting it in half. That seems like not the right thing to do. You could definitely make that out of foam. I
bet there is a Pepicora Overwatch Reaper mask pattern you could just use as a template. Use white, probably 1/4-inch foam, and I bet you'll have to make it twice, but it's foam and cheap. So, yeah. But yeah, totally make a foam. That would be super light. That's the thing about the resin one is I would worry about taking it off and dropping it at a convention because it might shatter. So, like, we have a really nice resin one, but it's on our wall. Like, we're not wearing it at
I would wear that at a convention. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
If you want to just buy one, go look up Henchman Props and just buy his. I have one, and it's incredible.
It is
I don't even wear it. Like Britt said, I don't have a costume. I just have it, and I put it on the wall.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. But you could definitely make one, and I'm willing to bet people have made Pepicura files for things like that. So look that up. And good luck. That sounds like a fun build.
Yeah, it seems like a good introduction to foam too. Like it's just not a full helmet. It's just part of it. It's just the front. You just have to kind of see out of it. So
now everyone in chat is talking about different classes and Destiny.
I'm gonna be so rusty going back into it. It's been so I don't even check Xur anymore on my phone.
Xur's been pretty disappointing for a while.
Well, we already have everything, so it's like, I got that. Yeah.
All right, Nick has a question. He says, Bill, you used varnish to seal your mechanist costume. Is this a special type of varnish? And when would you choose varnish over some other type of clear coat, like the Krylon 1311? I like using varnish on foam because it's very flexible and it dries really fast.
What's varnish made out of?
I don't know.
Does it come from a varnish tree?
I'm gonna look it up now.
Are there varnish worms that they harvest?
It's probably a varnish worm.
Yeah, well, that's what shellac is, right?
Shellac comes out of a bug's butt.
Yeah, so maybe varnish is similar.
Varnish is a combination of drying oil, a resin, and a thinner or solvent. So, varnish.
It comes in gloss and matte, which is another reason why we like it.
Yeah.
And we just get the kind we get. I think is designed to be sprayed on top of canvases.
Yeah,
so like flexible, canvases. So that'll be in the same aisle in the craft store.
Yep.
Like Joanne Fabrics is where we get it.
So the two things about it that I like the most is that it dries really fast and that it's flexible. So that's generally what I use on foam and generally what I use over latex rubber. For props that are like a harder surface, like wood or plastic that aren't going to flex, and if I don't have time, I'll use lacquer because that dries really fast. Common trend if I want it to work really fast. But then the rattle can, that Krylon 1311, that dries pretty quickly too. You can count on that drying overnight. That stuff's really great. And I would use that on space guns. again, matte or gloss, whatever finish you would prefer for your particular project. But ever since I learned about varnish, I find myself using it more and more.
Yeah, it's been great.
That one came to us from Nick. Thank you, Nick. Baka has a question. Hey, Britt, as someone who just started the Automaton DLC, I'm now curious why you didn't opt to make your Assaultron be up to
Ada.
Oh, Ada.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you can. There are different versions.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really weird how like I fall in love with the generic bad guy.
Right.
The same exact thing happened with Skyrim with the it was the Deathlord Draugr. And I was watching Bill play Skyrim, and I was like, man, I really want to make that guy because they're just so annoying, and I hate them. And it's like making that character, I just know I'm going to get that emotion out of people, and they're going to want like, oh, you're the guy I always see who tries to kill me. Let's get our picture taken together, and pretend to try and kill me, which is always an awkward conversation to have. But I told Bill that, and he's like, well, I want to be a Draugr too, so we both did them.
Yep.
Well, I was watching Bill play Fallout, and the same thing happened where an Assaultron came up and just lasered him with their face.
When we were playing through Fallout 4, we had a moment with one of those generic characters that really stuck with us, and that's what we enjoyed about it. Yeah,
and I have more of an emotional attachment to that Assaultron than to Pam or to Ada or any of the other ones. But mine is the Prop-Tart one. I changed that name on it, so Prop-Tart bot.
So there you go. There's a lot of good reasons to cosplay a lot of different characters. Good question, Baka. Let's grab another one as we round the corner here. Chris wants to know, what is your favorite method of hiding little errors you've made into pieces that are difficult to remake or can't be remade?
Battle damage.
Yeah. Most of the costumes we made aren't supposed to look brand new. I am usually compelled to build costumes of characters that aren't supposed to look brand new.
Instead of hiding your crimes, highlight your crimes.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yes. That's what I think about with Boba Fett's helmet with a dent in the top. I'm like, oh man, what if the original they just dropped?
Yeah.
And there's like, let's just make it look like a really big dent.
Yep.
And they just went with it. And now there's a whole culture around the dented helmet.
The chat's still going pretty hot on the Destiny chat right now.
Or you can be like a Bill with his Valkyrie rifle from Mass Effect ended up taking some damage around the stock.
I did a bad thing to that when I was building it.
Yes,
so I incorporated that into the finished look.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, there's a strip of space duct tape around the back of it where I accidentally plunged a hole through it with a drill bit.
You just took some fiberglass and wrapped it around, right? And then painted it silver?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now, if the thing you're making is supposed to look pristine, you may have to rebuild it. If it's something that's got a nice hard surface like plastic or wood, you could fill it with a body filler and sand it. If it's foam, you might be able to get away with filling it with some quick seal and smoothing that out before it dries. Or you may actually just have to rebuild it. Now you say it's difficult to be remade or it can't be remade. Nothing can't be remade. You can always build it again. You may be out of time. You may not be able to remake it now, but you can always rebuild it. And whenever I screw up something really bad, I usually don't tell anyone about it and just rebuild it.
Also, if it's something where there's damage on one side, just roll with it and pose on the other side. So it's like a gun, and it's like, it's fine. Everything I've built. Everything has a favorite side.
Everything has a favorite side, yeah.
So, and from 5 feet away, they probably won't notice it anyway. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Andy Face, this is the question that is supposedly spam. What's your favorite non-prop... I'm going to start over. What's your favorite non-prop making related thing that is actually great for prop making? Most of the tools that we make weren't designed for prop, or that we use weren't designed for prop making. So, like I took a soldering iron and I used that as a wood knife, like a wood burning tool, but I use it on foam. That wasn't designed for that, but that's what I use it for. I mean, Barge wasn't designed to glue foam floor mats together. It was designed for making shoes, but we use it for prop making all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite I mean, rotary tools are just great for everything.
Right.
So they're an amazing multitasker. That's usually my go-to.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, because just
yeah.
about everything, like I said, is sort of transposed from some other discipline. But I don't think I have a favorite. Sorry to let you down, Andy Face.
You don't have a favorite tool in general?
In general, I don't know. I really like the only tool I have two of is a bandsaw. I really like the bandsaw. I got nothing. Sorry. Okay, let's grab one more question. This one's from CD Steer.
94.
94. Bill, I remember back in Christmas time you were flexing your sketching muscles. I was wondering if you're still regularly sketching. No, I'm not.
If you're going to do any more video content on it.
No, I may in the future. I had other things take priority, so things like exercising took a priority. And I've been working on building a better morning routine for myself that includes things like exercising and planning my day-to-day activities and setting ambitious goals and all that, like daily goals, weekly goals, that sort of thing. And that kind of took a front seat to the drawing and sketching. But I do plan once I get into that routine and it becomes more ingrained in me and I can start adding more things, that's when I'm going to dive back into drawing again.
Yes, I think you're going about it the correct way, because if you all of a sudden take charge of your life and incorporate too many new bits of routines,
you end up doing none of it.
Exactly. It becomes way too overwhelming. So add one at a time. So, and Bill said that. He said that out loud too. It's like a real thing that happened where he's like, I'm going to wait to incorporate drawing to my morning routine because I want to make sure it sticks. Yeah. And it's after a couple months where you start to be able to add things.
Other things have come up too. So in case you guys didn't notice, we usually put up 3 videos a week now, and that takes a lot of time, turns out. And we like making those videos a lot, and we don't regret the time we put into doing it, but other things have to take a back seat. So that's where we've been focusing our energy, and it turns out great. So and trust me, there are other skills besides drawing. There are plenty of other skills that are on my list of things I want to work on that they just have to wait for now.
Yeah, they're gonna happen.
They will happen, but I have other priorities in my life. Okay, that is the very last question that we have for today. Thank you guys, especially for coming up with good questions on the spot. You guys never disappoint. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We're going to get ready to go. Like I said, our flight leaves in 12 hours for DragonCon. We still have to pack, and we're not even at our house. So we have a long couple of hours ahead of us. We're going to go get ready to do that. We have our meetup on Friday, 5 p.m., 10th floor, Marriott. Be there. There's the meetup at PAX West. Go check that out if you're going to be around. And we'll post our schedule. I'm going to be on a couple of panels at DragonCon. We'll post that schedule as soon as we have all the info.
Yeah, and we don't get back until late Tuesday, so we're going to do our live from the shop stream on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah. We'll still do it. It'll just be on Wednesday, and then the Q&A will be on its normal time on Thursday. So there. Everyone's caught up. You guys all know what's going to go on, and that's it. Yeah. Thanks again for hanging out with us today, and we will see all of you guys next week after DragonCon and PAX. So long, guys.
So long.
Bye.